This is from Sue-Ann. She says, Dear Dr. Lisle, I watched your video on why we should not weigh and measure our food, and it made sense to me. What I'm wondering, though, is that why that approach continues to remain so popular and in the food addiction world, absolutely mandatory. They seem to believe that somehow we are broken and can't trust ourselves to know when to stop eating unless we restrict quantity. But my biggest question is, why do they insist that even calorie dilute, non-starchy vegetables be weighed and measured and limited? Because they claim that people suffer from a volume addiction and they believe they get some kind of benefit from overeating, even if it's healthy food. Is any of this based on actual science?
Nope.
Wait, you do it again because
Bro. No, this is just it's just ignorance. You know, people are ignorant about a lot of things, and so whoever is touting that concept is just somebody that doesn't know the facts of reality. Oh well, a lot of people don't know. You know, if I sat down, you might say, how could they be so ignorant? If I sat down with 10 well-educated psychologists, okay, so the 10 best educated psychologists in Sacramento Valley, if I were to talk to them, I would find them to be appallingly ignorant about my field. And so that's my field. If I were to talk to a bunch of eating disorders counselors, they would be completely ignorant about how to direct people with eating disorders. So it's no surprise that, you know, remember, the weighing and measuring is a very good way to play on the hyper conscientious nutcase, you know, personality. So it gives them a sense of, it's very similar to the hand washing of an OCD person. So the hand washing for an OCD person, like, you know, my friend, I have a good friend that's OCD, and he's a hand washer. He feels so relaxed for a short period of time, you know, that it's like, you know, if he sees me touch something when we're out and about doing stuff, he'll have a little bottle of that alcohol, you know, sanitizer. And I said, "You sure you don't want some?" He doesn't even want me getting in his car and touching the handles unless I've had a little of that stuff on my hand. And I tell him I'm not doing it, you know, and he doesn't like that. I don't like that stuff on my hands. So in the same way that the weighing and measuring will soothe the OCD soul, and it's like I'm in line, everything's fine, I'm doing everything right, I'm right within the boundary lines, and so they can feel some safety about that. And so that because that's true, that message isn't going away. There's so many people there's a significant market niche of individuals who feel way more comfortable. You know, it's kind of like a dog that likes to be in his doghouse and doesn't want to leave it. It's like, I'm comfortable here. So that idea is not going away, and it's you know, it's rooted in ignorance. It seems superficially true, even though, you know, in other words, a lot of things seem superficially true. And turn out to be not be true. So it seems superficially true. So therefore, it seems to make some sense. And it soothes the comfort of the high anxiety OCD type person who feels like, okay, as long as I'm weighing and measuring, I'm within the rules, I will succeed then. Makes logical sense. We look at this thing and say, this is completely ridiculous and ludicrous. You can't measure your calories. There is no human being on earth that can measure the calories. The calories are not measurable. Why do you say this? I remember I got confronted about 10 years ago by Colin Campbell on this. And Colin says, we're talking about calories. He goes, what's a calorie? And I said, well, it's the amount of energy it takes. He goes, no. Tell me what a calorie is to a person when they're digesting it. I said, and he goes, you don't know, do you? I said, well, actually, I don't. He goes, good, because it's not known. It's not known. There's no idea. You can measure the calories in a piece of steak or in a carrot. You can put them in a burner, and you can say that we've got an index for it, and we can burn it to a crisp, and we can say, oh, it released X amount of energy, and therefore that carrot had 200 calories in it. That bears no relationship to the truth about what it does in a human body. None. It's BS. Okay. I'm not going to say it's not related at all. It's correlated with the truth, but that's all it is. And Colin says, nobody has any idea. So if you think that you can measure the corn out and then measure the sprouts and then measure the blueberries and then measure the chunk of salmon, and you know that that's 1,800 calories for the day, that is complete bullshit. You can have another meal of 1,800 calories out of the same calorie book. And if you actually look at human beings, it's going to turn out that if you fed that same human being those two different meals, they'll gain weight on one of them and lose weight on the other, and they both say 1,800 calories. Okay. So yeah, weighing and measuring is bullshit.